Hey, what's up, everybody? Chad Kalick here, and welcome to episode 7 of the In a Crowded Room podcast, which on this episode, we're going to talk a bit about secret societies, and I'm going to share an experience with you that is going to blow your mind. But how this came about is, on my Facebook page, somebody left a comment saying you should do a documentary on secret societies. To be honest, I haven't done a ton of research on secret societies. I know of, obviously, some of the bigger ones, the Skull and Crossbones being the one that comes to mind. That's the Yale Secret Society that a bunch of former presidents were a part of. And I think it was started by Prescott Bush, George Sr.'s dad. George Sr. was a member. George W. Bush was a member. Then there's I think it's Virginia. Virginia has the Seven Society, and that is believed to be a political secret society, but nobody knows the members until after they die. Then it's revealed, and no one even knows really what they do while being an active member. Really secret, and there's a lot of Illuminati insinuations there. But there was a time where I was really freaked out by secret societies because I accidentally joined one. And when I say accidentally, I mean it. So Iowa State University has one of the largest Greek systems around. And what I mean by Greek systems is, fraternities, sororities, which I had never thought of joining. And, one day, my senior year, after baseball practice, I come home and there's a guy that was in my brother's class that graduated with Brian, and he's 4 years older than me, and he's at my house with 4 different guys that I don't know. And I walk up, his name is Bill, and I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Bill?" And he's like, "Hey, I got some friends I want you to meet. They drove here all the way from Ames." So I'm like, "All right." So I went down to the basement of my place, and they pretty much told me that they had heard about who I am, and they thought that I would be perfect for Beta Theta Pi, which was their fraternity, and they wanted me to come to this summer function to meet the rest of the members of this fraternity. And I was very confused. I was very, very confused. I had never asked Bill to introduce me to anybody in the Greek system. I had never heard of Beta Theta Pi. I had never once expressed any ambition to join a fraternity. I had no idea why they were there. So they were nice enough guys, but when they left, I remember stopping, Bill and going, what is going on, man? And he was real secretive. He didn't want to tell me why he had them come over. He didn't really want to tell me anything about the fraternity. He just said, "Go to this event. You'll love it. Just trust me, go to this event." So I inquired about the event more. The following week, I had a phone call with these guys, and they said, "We're going to take you to Apple River, Wisconsin. Trust us, you're going to love it." And I'm like, "Well, what are we going to do?" And he said, "You're going to go rafting all day long. You're going to camp out. There's going to be a big barbecue. There's going to be tons of girls there, live music. You're going to have a blast." And again, I'm still confused, guys. I'm like, this sounds really cool. I don't know why you want me to come. And they just keep telling me that, I'm a good athlete. I'm a good student. I have what it takes. And now keep in mind, they don't know me. Okay. The only person that knows me is my friend Bill. So I decide, hey, at the time I'm 17 years old. It's not even my 18th birthday. So, I had just graduated high school, literally a couple days before I met with these guys. And I'm like, I'm in. Sounds like a hell of a party. Let's go. And they tell me to come by myself. So I'm like, okay. So I drive up to Ames and I get the address, and it's to the Beta Theta Pi frat house. The place is awesome. Huge, massive white columns in the front. It is straight out of PCU. Just massive red brick, white pillars. And seemingly a bunch of very, very cool guys that are being incredibly cool to me. And they're like, let's go, man, load it up, Chad. And I mean, they're all acting like we are the best of friends right away. And I'm thinking, these are just some really cool dudes, man. I really like these guys. And then we go to Apple River, and I am telling you, there was 4 girls for every guy that was at this campground. And I was told these girls that are going to be there, they're our sister sorority. So at that time, I was like, oh, so fraternities have certain sororities they do stuff with? And he's like, yeah, we have the AKOs. And you lucked out because I guess that was the cheerleaders. All the cheerleaders were at the AKOs. And the AKOs had a sister sorority too, which was a sorority they would do events with, and they brought them as well. And those girls are just basically rich girls. Models, rich girls, high shelf DNA, we'll put it that way. I was just like, wow. I mean, I have never seen so many blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful women in one place for so few guys. And so I'm like, this is cool. Let's do this. So right away, they're cracking open the booze, anything that, and remember, I'm 17, and they don't care. Anything that you could think of to drink is available. If you want to smoke weed, that's available. Something tells me if I was into drugs at that time, I could have got anything I wanted. It was just available. And of course, as a young kid, I'm looking to live life. I just graduated. I'm down for an experience. So I get completely hammered, go rafting all the way down this river, and this girl right away I hit it off with. She rafts the whole river with me the whole day. Ends up hanging out with me. By the time we get to the end of the river, I'm so drunk, I throw up. And, I was able to rebound and regroup. And by the end of the night, I was good. I was back to me, had a nice shower, washed up, got the throw up smell off of everything. And this girl's still hanging out by me. And beautiful girl. And I still can't figure it out because none of this feels right. Meaning that why is everyone so nice? Why is this girl so nice? A much older girl, by the way, about 4 years older than me. So I wake up the following morning and I'm just like, wow. As a 17-year-old kid, this was, it was heaven. It was like, this is amazing. Oh my God, these guys are so freaking cool. So, I ride back to the fraternity with the guys, and then I hop in my car when it's all over, and I head home. And I get a call a week later saying, Chad, did you have a good time? And if so, would you like to rush and be a member of Beta Theta Pi? A pledge, I'm sorry. Rushing, pledging, same thing. And why would I say no? Of course. I'm like, this is awesome. I already have friends up there now. I know girls up there. These guys are mad cool. If this is what their life is like up there, why would I not want to do that? And they say, awesome. Well, come on up because you're going to meet your pledge class. I'm like, cool. So I arrive. Actually, my parents dropped me off, which was awkward as can be. Because they had a party the night before and the place was just ripped up. So my parents weren't exactly like, confident in what I had chosen for my future. But so right away I meet my roommate and they say, this is my big brother. That's what they call him, my big brother. And he is an active, meaning he has a number, they tell me. He's got a number, he's an active. And I'm like, well, what's that? And they're like, well, you're a pledge until, you get your number. And then once you get your number, you're an official member of Beta Theta Pi. I said, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, what do you got to do to get your number? And they're like, people call it hazing, but man, don't worry about it. It's stupid stuff, doing the dishes, cleaning up after a party, stuff nobody wants to do. I'm like, oh, fair enough. Yeah, I get it. You do some grunt work for, a semester and then you get your number or whatever. So that's cool. So I meet everybody in my pledge class. Super nice guys, like everybody in my class. So that night, they take us downstairs to the cafeteria and they say, you're going to play a drinking game. These are the older guys. So they put out a bottle of whiskey, Jack Daniels actually, heavy stuff, heavy stuff. And they say, you guys are going to sit around a circle. I know what you guys are thinking. No, we did not. No, they say you're going to sit around in a circle and each of you are going to go to the person to your right and you have to say each person's first name, last name, hometown, age, major, and minor. So that's a lot to say, guys. Okay, first name, last name, hometown, age, major, and minor. So, as you can imagine, none of us can do this. And every time you miss it, the whole group has to take a shot. It doesn't take me long to figure out they're just going to get us hammered. I mean, like that is what's going on here. We are going to get destroyed drunk because we're going to be doing shots, a lot of them, and fast. And which I'm not a fan of, man. I'm not a fan of just pounding a bunch of whiskey. But yeah, so in a matter of no time, everybody's wasted. Of course, we're having fun. We're laughing. We're joking. And at that time, they come back down and we're all, super drunk. And they say, okay, you're going to go meet the Rush class, which is basically our female counterparts, over at the AKO house. So we went over and met all these girls and made complete asses out of ourselves, obviously. And the whole point of all this is just camaraderie. They're just trying to make sure that we're making memories and stories and that, we're developing bonds with each other. And they're trying to fast track it, set up events that we do so, we quickly make those bonds. So, time goes by and like anything else, you make closer and closer friends. And the first couple of weeks there was just debauchery. And, we had to do stupid stuff, exactly like the active said. We had to do dishes. They'd have a party at 4 a.m. rather than go to bed. We would have to, clean up. It was easy stuff. I mean, it was not fun, but it's not difficult. So I'm in class, and because they also drop on us that week that we have to carry a 3.5 grade point average. Which is great. I mean, I went to school to do a good job, so I'm like, cool, I can handle that. 3.5 is fine. So I'm in class, and I meet another girl that I just become friends with slowly, and then I brought it up to her that I was, I was in the pledge class at the Beta house. And she goes, oh, Jesus, how's that going? I'm like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, all the hazing and stuff. I'm like, hazing? I'm like, oh, it's fine. I mean, it's like, doing dirty dishes and waking people up for classes and stuff. I'm like, it's fine. She's like, huh. I've heard that's one of the fraternities that it gets really rough. I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And I go, now. Well, I go, then someone's bullshitting, because it's fine. It's actually pretty fun. They're cool dudes. I like it. She's like, okay. So, I go back and I talk to my, quote, big brother. This guy, Steve Foster, really nice guy. He was actually very cool. And I asked him, I said, so what's up with this thing? This girl, told me about this hazing and all this stuff. And he's like, no, that's illegal, man. Like, you can't do that stuff anymore. Like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's just someone, rumors, that type of stuff. I'm like, okay, so no big deal. So about another, week and a half goes by, and we're going to have our first big, huge, chapter party, which is other betas from other universities will come, and it's a big, big deal. And I invite Laura to come. Laura is my girlfriend at that time, but she's going to school at a different college. That's about 2.5 hours away. So I talked to Laura the night of the party, and I'm completely sober, and she says, I'm going to be there in about 2 hours. I'm like, cool. Right after I get off the phone with her, immediately, they pull us into this room, and it's some other stupid drinking game that we got to do. And by the time Laura arrives, I am absolutely smashed. And which, of course, it's not fun for her. She's just like, what is going on? I just talked to you, and she has real concerns. So she ends up staying the night in my room. Now, you have to understand that the rooms don't have beds. They have separate units called cold airs that are all bunks, and everybody sleeps in these bunks. And then the rooms are just for hanging out. But I'm not going to have Laura sleep in a cold air, with a bunch of guys, and I'm not going to have her sleeping next to me at that point because I was throwing up, I was sick. It was just not a good situation. So, I said you could sleep in my room, which she did. And the next day, there was a couple other scheduled events they had. One of them was like a singing thing. We had to learn, these lyrics to this Beta song. And I skipped it. And I skipped it to calm Laura down, to assure her that, I was not a drunk. And there was a lot of drinking, but I get it. It's a little much. And, I'll pull it back, that type of thing. And, I go back to the fraternity, and I walk in, and I get this note that I'm supposed to go to this room to talk to the house president. So I'm like, okay. So I go and I talk to the house president, and I get there, and it's him and like 5 other actives. And for the next hour, these guys are telling me all the reasons that I should break up with Laura. And I'm so confused by what is going on and pissed. Because I'm like, listen, guys, I don't know why anybody here thinks they can even have this conversation with me. And this was all because I chose her over the scheduled events they had and the singing they had set up to learn these lyrics of this song. And that, a true beta will choose his brothers over everybody. And the conversation finally ends when one of the guys there says, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, there is no slut in the world that's worth this brotherhood. And I was just like, hey, dude, you just called my girl a slut. That's where this conversation ends, because you're about to see some hands. We're not doing this. I walked out of there thinking, what a bunch of weirdos. This is crazy. Crazy. It was my first time that I thought, I probably should just get out of here. Like, if that's the attitude, And now remember, these brothers they're talking about, I had just met these guys a couple weeks ago, I liked them all very much, but I didn't have the kind of history where we had a brotherhood, So the day goes on, and that night I go to bed, and I'm thinking, maybe I should just give this a little more time, maybe not jump to a conclusion. Let's just see how things go. And that night, I get this beating on the door. So I'm in my room, not the cold air, just a beating on the door. And I open the door, and I hear this thump, 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 thump. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's one of the actives. He's like, line up. And I'm like, what? And I look out the hallway, and my entire pledge class is lined up, and they have these paddles. And these paddles have these Greek markings carved into them. And they're hitting the paddles against the ground like an Indian stomp almost. Dong, 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 dong. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? So we march our way all the way down into a hidden room that I didn't even know we had, called the hot room. I guess they call it the hot room. And we go in there, and they have the heat cranked up where it's like a good 40, 50 degrees. It was so incredibly hot. And it was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. On the way down, there's candles lit everywhere, by the way. Every 4 or 5 feet, there's a new candle. It looks straight occult. It's crazy, weird stuff. And we're standing in a row. And basically what they did is they asked each person how badly they wanted to be in the house. And if they, satisfied them, their answer, then they were fine, they'd move on. And if they didn't, 50 people that are, around you in a circle would just start screaming at you and calling you every name in the book and telling you, why you're weak and, you want to be a loser like the rest of the losers that live in the dorms and all this stuff. And I mean, it was really weird. And it was just this big scream session. But at that point, nobody got hurt. Nothing like that. It was just basically, we were supposed to, profess how important this was to us. And it had to satisfy them or they were going to lay into you. So, they get to me and I'm honest. I just say, look, it's fun. It's cool. The thing that happened with my girlfriend, I ain't down with that. Of course, they just started screaming and yelling and fuck your girl, fuck this, she won't be there for you in the end. We will be. We're your brothers at arms and all this stuff. And I was just like, okay, I get what this is. So maybe this is what my friend that I met was talking about. Is this the hazing they're talking about? So eventually they just literally, after we're sweating like you cannot imagine because it's so hot down there, they just send us back to a room. We march in a room and they're like, right hand on right shoulder, close your eyes. And you're supposed to march all the way up, and they'll tell you when you're at your door, and then you can go back in your room. So I do that, and that night, a gentleman comes in, is another active that I haven't even talked with yet, and he gives me the story, I've been watching you. I was a lot like you, I had some issues, and this is the good cop, right? Downstairs is bad cop, this is good cop now. And, he's like, I had a girl, and I was with her for a long time, and I eventually let it go, and it was the best decision I ever made. But I'm not saying you have to make that decision. You don't have to, and I understand. And ultimately, we all understand. We just really like you, man, and we really want to see this work. And at the end of it, he says, I'd like you to, come down tomorrow with your pledge class at 10 a.m. because, we're going to start our history courses. I'm like, okay. So I go down the following morning at 10 a.m., and it's not like a history course. I was thinking like history. It's history of the house. And they introduce something that's really weird. And that's, you're going to see through the story, they slowly introduce things. They say the words, or they say the founder of this house was a gentleman named John Knox. And he's referred to as Pater Knox. Pater is a Latin word for father. It sounds like Peter. It's funny. But what they say is, as an active, whenever we say the word Pater Knox, or those two words, whenever, no matter when, we are to stand at attention and say back to them like a Marine, first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks. You heard that right. I'm not kidding you. We are told that whenever an active, anybody with a number, the upperclassmen, it could be at a party. If it's in front of your parents, if they say, Pater Knox, you are to stand at attention like a Marine and yell out, first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks. Needless to say, I am like, this is getting fucking weirder by the moment. What is going on? In which I'm talking to my pledge brothers too. I'm like, does anybody else think this is as weird as I do? Like, first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks? They were like dead serious. So I'm like, okay, is this like the worst of it? Is this what she's talking about? And, everything in my body is telling me this is the beginning of it, man. They're just slowly introducing weird things. So that becomes a thing like for the next week, You'd be walking down the hallway and some active would just lean his head out and just go, Pater Knox. He'd stop and first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks. And then you could continue on your way. And if you didn't say it, if you didn't do it loud enough, fast enough, if you didn't do it to their liking, then they would add on things like, bathroom duty, cleaning the bathroom, plus the kitchen. Instead of going and rotation to pick up trash outside. You'd have to do it all week long. So they would look on people to pick on, basically. Yes, I did the Pater Knox thing a few times. I didn't do it with enthusiasm. I thought it was cornball. And they could tell that. They could obviously tell, that it bothered me. And I started getting this reputation of somebody with an attitude. That I just wasn't playing ball. I just wasn't saying first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks. I wasn't saying it with enough gumption, basically. So they come and have another talk with me about that. And then I need to, really take this opportunity on because there's so much that I could learn from this. And when they're done telling me that, they now tell me that they need $2,000 more from me per semester for the social fund. And I'm like, huh? And they're like, yeah, we just voted and we increased the social fund and we need $2,000 from you. Which I'm like, that's not how that works, guys. Sorry. I mean, there was a price she gave me to live here. So now I'm finding out it's, with both semesters, it's almost $4,000 more. So I just tell them, yeah, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out, guys. I'm done. Sorry. Peace. Later. Immediately, they back off, totally back off. Okay, well, for you, we can vote on it. Give us like an hour and maybe we can make an exception. And, they come back in and they've made an exception. And I'm just going, what did I get into? Like, what is this scammer shit that is going on right now? All this weird Greek stuff, all this stuff. So we have another party coming up that's like a week later. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to wait till that party, have one good, night with my buddies here. And then I'm just going to tell these guys, I'm gone. I'm out of here. That's it, The week comes, they're definitely giving me a hard time. They're definitely, letting me know they're not happy with me. And so be it. It is what it is. So we get called down one morning again, just like when they introduced Pater Knox. And they introduced a new one. And the new one is what color are the walls? In which you have to scream back, the walls are colorless, sir. So whenever they ask that question, what color are the walls? You have to answer back, the walls are colorless, sir. And in the same way as you answer first in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his fellow Greeks, you have to answer it with conviction. And what this means is that everything that happens inside that building has to be secret. At that time, I'm thinking, there's a reason that they're teaching us this now. That they're drilling into our head, the walls are colorless. Something's fixing to go down. And I'm thinking, whatever, man, I'm out of here by weekend. The party was on a Saturday. I'm like, I don't, care what you guys do. I'm out of here. The next day, we get this long book. And it is this crazy history of Pater Knox, the father of Beta Theta Pi. And it's paragraphs. 7 or 8 paragraphs. That's this written history of him. And they institute a new one whenever they ask about the history. When they just say, what is the history of this house? You're supposed to respond with these 8 paragraphs, word by word. You're supposed to get it right. Now, mind you, when they're telling us this, they know all 8 paragraphs. They can respond it like crazy, like fast as heck. It's drilled into their head. They have been indoctrinated. They are part of the Beta Theta Pi machine. So they're not just telling you to do this. These guys were you. They were in your spot looking down the same barrel, which freaked me out. So clearly, I'm just ready to go. I am ready to go, but I really do want to do this party. So I'm like, you know what? I only got a couple more days. No big deal. What's the worst that could happen? So I go to sleep that Friday, and this is the Friday before the Saturday of the party. 2 a.m., beating on my door, and you can hear the paddles rapping. Do, 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 do. Oh, God, here we go again. What are we doing now? What other weird shit do I got to scream out about Pater Knox? So they get us in a line, And they take us all the way back down again to this room that's 140 some degrees. And we're standing there in just pure darkness. There's candles all the way down, but you get to the room, it's just cranked up, and it's just us in the middle. And by the way, we're standing back to back. So my shoulder blades are pretty much touching, the back of my, quote, pledge brother. So we're back to back standing there. And this really kind of large football playing, intimidating, active just starts walking in a circle, and it's quiet. No one's saying anything this time. They're not yelling out questions or anything. And it's super dead quiet. And all you hear is, "What color are the walls?" And everybody kind of haphazardly says, "The walls are colorless, sir." And, everybody is not in unison. Our words are kind of, stepping on each other's words. And it's just dead quiet. "What color are the walls?" We all say it again. And then he just screams, "God damn it, say it together." It's quiet. "What color are the walls?" "The walls are colorless, sir." It's dead quiet again. And all you hear is, "What color are the walls?" We're all saying it again. And it gets dead quiet again. Then you hear him walk up to, one of the members in our group at the very end, and he says to him, "What is the history of our father?" He gets about 3 lines into this history that we're supposed to recite, and he messes it up. And I just hear crack. And I hear this kid just scream out in pain. When he messed up, he hit him across the shins with the paddle. And we all start freaking out. And we start freaking out. What are you guys doing? What is going on? We're all trying to should we be getting ready for war here? What is going on? And you just hear him scream, "Quiet," really loud, and it gets quiet. And then you hear the same thing again. "What color are the walls?" It's dead quiet because no one wants to say it. It says, "What color are the walls?" Everyone's like, "God, I don't want to say it." He goes, "I'm going to ask one more time." At that point, you don't want anyone else getting hit. We don't know what's going on. We're at a complete disadvantage. It's dark. It's, dude is clearly hurt. So he says, "What color are the walls?" And together everybody goes, "The walls are colorless, sir." From there, I'm thinking, what, is he just going to walk down the aisle and beat everybody? No, they start, doing the dong, 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 dong deal. We go up the stairs, go back to our room. We're supposed to go back in the cold airs and sleep after this, which there's no way that I could go sleep next to this bunch of psychotic assholes that just hurt a kid. And the kid they hurt too, he was one of the smaller kids in our group. I mean, it was the biggest pussy move I had ever seen. Especially, he didn't know it was kind of dark. He's cracking him on the shins with a paddle. I mean, I was just like, everything about this I hate. I'm disgusted. It is what it is. I'm definitely leaving. And so a few minutes later, again, they come back to my room. "Why aren't you sleeping in the cold air?" And I just said, I can't do that, man. But what you guys just did down there, it was crazy, dude. I want nothing to do with this. That's whack. I'm not sleeping in the cold air. I'm going to chill on this couch. I'm good, And they're like, you will get this. It's hard to understand right now, but you'll get it, And he starts telling me about, all of these famous names of people that are betas, and they were all in my shoes. And they are some big names. And I was like, what am I a part of? I mean, it was like Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, everybody like John Wooden, UCLA basketball, Mike Schmidt. There was 4 or 5 different astronauts. And when it came to political names, I mean, it just went on forever. In fact, I invite all you guys, go to Wikipedia or just type in famous Beta Theta Pi members and look at their list of politicians. And I mean, it is shocking. And, power brokers in business. I mean, everybody from like the former CEO of IBM to Wachovia to the CEO of Boeing. I mean, remember Ken Lay of Enron? He was a beta. Things didn't work out for him though. But he was George Bush's best friend. Kenneth Lay was, and Bush was a skull and Ken was a beta. So they start telling me, it may seem crazy right now, but over time it'll all make sense to me. And look at all these big names and look how successful they were. And I just need to stake this thing out. And I finally look and say to him, listen, man, I don't have an apartment yet and I don't have a dorm yet, but like I'm gone. I'm going to this party tomorrow night and then I'm gone. I'm done. In which he says, can you do me one favor? He was like, this is a big party we have coming up. I want to keep the vibe up. Can you just think about this till Sunday? Enjoy the party, have fun. Then let's talk again on Sunday. And whatever decision you make, I'll let everybody else know. He was like, we just really want you to stay. I know your pledge brothers will. We want to have a good vibe at this party. So just think about it and have a good time. And I'm like, whatever. Since I'm staying to the party, it doesn't make any sense for me to be at war with everybody. So I say, sure, I'll think about it. And we'll talk again on Sunday. So the following day, the party comes. I'm having a great time, but because it's my last night there, I do basically leak to my pledge brothers that, yeah, I'm leaving. So, if not tomorrow, then it'll be the next day, but I'm out of here, And they're bummed. They're totally bummed out. And I understand why. There were some guys in there that I really genuinely got along with, but I just didn't want anything to do, with any of that stuff, So the night's almost over. It's about, 1 a.m. and I'm walking back to my room to call Laura. And one of the actives sticks his head out the door and he says, Pater Knox. And I just keep walking without stopping to yell, first in war, first in peace, first in hearts of fellow Greeks. And he goes, hey. And I turn around and he's like, I said Pater Knox. And I turned around and I said, cool, you can say it all you want, dude. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm not doing this weird shit anymore. And I turn around and just go to my room. So I get to my room, and right as I'm going to call Laura, I hear my name being called. And it's the same dude that just, gave me the Pater Knox that I didn't respond to. And I can hear him yelling my name from the bathroom. So I'm like, okay, I don't call Laura yet. I just put the phone down and I go to the bathroom. And I walk in the bathroom, and he goes, as long as you're living here, you're a pledge. And I go, well, listen, dude, like I said, I'll be out tomorrow. And he was like, but you're a pledge right now. And I'm like, all right, I'm a pledge right now. Whatever, dude. I got to go call my girl. And he goes, no, clean it. And he points to a urinal where someone has taken a dump. And I'm like, huh? And he's like, clean it. I'm like, nah, dude, that's not happening. And he's like, I said, clean it. You're a pledge. I looked at him and I was like, I don't want to fight you, man. I don't like fighting. I don't like violence. I don't want any part of, whatever you're doing right now. But I'm telling you, I'm not cleaning anything. You try to come near me. You try to make me touch that. You try to make me do anything. I am going to attack you like an animal on fire, dude. I am done with this. I turn around and I walk out, waiting for him to scream my name again and push the line further, and he doesn't, thankfully. I go back and I call Laura, and I'm like, I'm out of here. Laura's freaked out by the whole thing. She tells me, call your brother right away, which I did. Brian lived in Ames, and Brian came over and just picked me up. And he was like, your stuff, we'll grab it tomorrow. I'll go in there with you. Anybody says anything weird to you, whatever, I'm going to be with you. We're not going to take anything from anybody. We're not going to take any shit, Just pack your stuff and get out. So I did. Packed everything up. And then I went back and met with the president again, the guy that asked me to wait till Sunday. And I walked in and I said, so I'm sure that you've heard that I've, obviously made my decision. I'm out of here. And he goes, yeah, I did, man. And he's like, I did hear it. It's quiet in the room, and I'm like, all right, man, well, it's been real. I got to go. And he goes, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm like, huh? Well, I'm not really in the favor game right now. And he's like, I know. He's like, but everything that you've learned in here? And I go, yeah. And he goes, can you just please keep it a secret? in which I paused and thought about it. And I just asked him, I said, why are you so connected to all this? All this, forcing people to recite things and, this crazy history that nobody else loves, and trying to get people to separate themselves from girlfriends and past friends. And I'm like, why do you do this? What is going on? And he goes, to a lot of us in here, this is the only family we have, man. And I said to him, that's too bad. Because this isn't how you make friends, man. You don't force people into weird situations and then tell them they're brothers. It was quiet. And I said, I can't promise you that I'll never tell people about this. That wasn't part of my gig when I came in. I didn't know any of the stuff you guys were going to do. You guys told me to get rid of my girlfriend. You're assaulting people in here. You tried to get, $2,000 extra from me. I go, last night I had an active try to make me clean out a urinal full of feces with my hands. I'm like, that's family to you? It's not family to me, man. I told him, take care, and I left. But what I never understood about the situation, and maybe I'm just not secret society material, I never understood the undying loyalty they had for each other. I never understood it. And they talked about it when he was, giving me all the famous names of everybody. He was like, when you get out into the world, when you need something, we're going to be there for you. I'm like, yeah, well, so would anybody else who's my friend. As whack as that whole situation was, I'm really glad I went through it. Because it just made me realize that entire elitist viewpoint, it's just not me. It's not me. Like J. Cole said, I'm a man of the people, not above, but equal. Thank you once again for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with more. All the best.